Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello, Indianapolis moms.
Mic check. 2 1 2.
We are here to talk with you about the 411 on voting. So, Dee, go ahead and introduce yourself. Who are you? You want to introduce yourself, girl?
Me?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking to them. I was like, sure, introduce yourself. Yeah, I'll introduce myself. Sure. My name is DeAndrea Bevan. I am a senior writer for Indie Moms. I'm a mom, and so I'm obviously very passionate about this. So I'm so glad to be here with you guys to discuss voting and the importance of voting, and furthermore, how to vote
Exactly.
the
Well, let's
proper way.
now I will say Dee is my girl that I will text, I will call, we chat. Whenever I have anything
Hmm.
to ask you, whether it is about voting, whether it is about politics in general. You're my girl. So I was like,
Go.
we
Well, I
need
grew
you.
up around politics a lot. My aunt worked for Evan Bayh. My grandfather did not get the right to vote, but voted in every election. He was bit by a dog when he went to vote. A dog was let loose on him the very first time he was allowed to vote. And so he had this scratch from here to here when from voting. And he, but from that point on, he voted in every election. He engaged in every election, and it didn't even bother him. Like, he realized that democracy is not perfect, but it's what we have, and that's where we're equal. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I love
I've
that.
been involved my entire life.
Well, let's get started. So you basically have touched on it, but
Mhm.
I think why is it important to vote? And I think people need to understand, you know, there is a reason that we need to vote. And I mean, we could go a million different directions, but for you, why is it important to vote? Why is it important, to get out there and cast our ballots, get our voices heard?
I mean, I feel like everybody says every election is the most important election of our lifetime, but I definitely have seen a change in the tide, and I just think that because people died and fought for our right to vote, as not just black people but as women as well. Okay, I I think that we would be remiss as moms to sit out an election like it doesn't matter.
I
It's
agree with that.
imperative.
I
Why do you
agree.
vote?
Well, I vote for clearly my family,
Yeah.
and I think being a mother. And I think back, I remember turning 18, and one of the very first things I did was I actually went and I was at an election site and I got to work. I was, the cool thing was I got to skip school, but I
Work the
learned,
polls.
yes, and I learned so much as an
Mhm.
18-year-old. Um, I'll never forget there was an older woman there, and then I ended up being the one that had to be in the car to take the ballots to the courthouse. Like
Yep.
that was my job, and
Yep.
I still, I mean, God, that was 20 years ago, and I still remember it.
Yep.
So it's
Yep. I
it's
get
you're
it.
right, and I think it's important for people to also realize like life is busy, but you got to get
So
out there
busy.
because
Yep.
it could come down to a matter of handful of votes to determine the
Mhm.
winner.
Which is
Like,
what happened in the last election. People thought, you know what, my vote doesn't count or my vote doesn't matter, but it is that couldn't be more. It couldn't be more untrue than the last election, where literally, like, it was like point something percent.
right. I mean, it was like what? Like the number I don't know
It
exactly
was
what it was.
like I know one precinct in like Michigan was like uh, probably like 500 votes
That's crazy.
was
I
what
mean,
they
think
were
about
missing.
that. 500 people. That's like half of a graduating class of high school,
Yes, it
you
was like
know?
500 people. And so think about that. Like, think about the people who just decided to stay home.
Right.
You know, I mean, who knew that we would have to make a plan when we first started voting?
Right. Well, and I think that's also an important thing is now, especially with COVID, you
Mm-hmm.
know, voting, like early voting numbers are off the charts right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw something, the statistics where it was like almost at this point of the year, 3 times as many people have voted early than the last election. And,
Mm-hmm.
so voting early is a great way to go. And
Mm-hmm.
where can we go to find information about early voting?
You can find information about early voting on Indiana Voters. Um, really, to be honest with you, there are a lot of polling places for early voting. Obviously, in Indy, here we have the city county building. I drove by the other day just to see where the line was, and it was wrapped around the building. Now, I've had girlfriends who say they've waited 3 hours in line, and I have friends who were like, I was in and out in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So I guess it really just depends on the day, but it's open at 6 o'clock in the morning. Ideally, who wants to be at a polling place at 6 o'clock in the morning? But I
If you're in
mean,
and out,
yeah, you're in and out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I'm gonna when we're done, I will put in the comments. There is a website that will tell you the wait time of
Hmm.
early voting, so you can check it for Marion County to see like
Hmm.
what the wait is for early voting. So I think that's something to keep in your back pocket if you plan
Yeah.
to early vote.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, I really don't you agree, Kate, that a plan, I mean, we're as moms, we plan
Right.
all the time anyway, but a plan for voting is going to be super important at this point,
Yep.
because we are in the pandemic and it's obviously unprecedented. So I feel like, shouldn't you? Well, for me anyway, like my plan is to vote on election day, drop the kids off at school, and just prepare to stand in line for however long. I mean, what are you? What's your plan?
Well, I'm hoping to do early voting.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna kind of just play by ear because I would love to take my kids with me, depending on how long it is.
Okay.
But see, then again, I don't know because I'm really weird because the numbers are so high. Ideally, if I can just keep them at home, I would love to
Hmm.
be able to do that. But I think when you plan to keep in
Hmm.
mind, make sure you have that mask because I know people that are working the polls, there is going to be like a mask person there that's going to tell people, get your mask on, pull your mask up. Like I know that for sure. So make sure you do take your mask when you go to the poll
Definitely.
and respect people's personal space.
Yes.
Like
6 feet, people.
6 feet. And
Back up.
and I think that's a lot of the reason why the lines look so long because people are respecting social distance, practicing, that 6 feet.
Hmm.
But just be mindful of that. And like you said, prepare for lines. So be patient,
Hmm.
you
There's a
know?
lady that spent $50 at Chick-fil-A because she got breakfast and she got lunch because she knew she was going to be there that long. I'm not saying spend $50 at Chick-fil-A. I'm just saying.
You know what though? I swear I remember last election there were deals where you could order free pizza and get it delivered to you in line at some of the polling places. I feel like I remember this app. Maybe I'm going crazy. I need to look that up. But because last election, even for the primaries in 2018, I went and there was a wait. But I mean, I waited 3.5 hours to vote in the
Hmm.
general election 4 years ago. So I mean, I'm just planning
We
ahead.
waited 3 in the primaries just this year. We waited 3 hours to vote. We had the kids, and my parents always took us. They went at 6 in the morning. They always took us to vote. But because, of our current situation, I don't want to take the kids and put them in line for that long.
That's how I am. I did see a picture of a woman and her son. I don't know if you saw this. I think it's in New Orleans, but
Hmm.
she had one of those. I bought one of those sports tents.
I saw that. I saw that you got one.
But she took
Perfect.
it. Her and her son. She was like, I don't know what the conditions are going to be if people are going to be practicing social distancing or wearing masks. So she just brought one, and her son huddled up in it and they moved along. So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
I saw your tent. Yeah, I would love to take the kids, but I just, like I said, I don't know. Plus, I told our headquarters here that if any of the senior Troy, if any of the senior citizens were not like comfortable with Uber or Lyft, because they're offering
yeah.
election day deals as well.
Hmm.
If they weren't comfortable, that I'd be glad to go pick up people to take them to the polls, because I don't know if you know this, or if you remember from poll working, they allow senior citizens to get in line first. Like, they allow them to go in. So that's a good thing to know. Like, if you have parents who are
Hmm.
63 and up, they can go up the line. They don't have to wait in line.
Which I
So
feel like it should be,
it should be.
that's how
It
it
really
should be.
should. So I told her that I would be available to do that. I say that, but I don't know how long I'm gonna be in line. So cool.
So we have people are saying, so we have some early voters. They're going to go in the
Mhm.
afternoon because they heard it's longer in the mornings, which I think that's interesting,
That is interesting.
you
That means
know?
people are up.
And then someone wants to know, what time did you go when you waited in line that long? For me, when I went and waited 3 hours, I was in line by 7:30 and I waited
I think it
three
was
hours.
probably about 9 for me, 9 or 10 for Steve and I, and we were in line for 3 hours.
Yeah. But then I will say, so the primaries, I went and the line was wrapped around and I was like, forget this. And then I went back
Hmm.
after lunchtime and it was shorter. Like I
Yeah.
got in and out. So I think just, you know,
The goal is to not get out of line, though. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
the goal is because, let's just be honest, guys, this is a pretty important election. Early voting numbers indicate that. So the goal is to just stay, and grab a stool, bring a chair, bring a Vanity Fair. I don't know. But the goal is, we really want you to stay, because the longer you put it off and you're like, I'm going to come
you're not
back,
going to come
or
back.
you're not going to come back, and then you're going to look up. Don't forget, our polls are only open from 6A to 6P. But if you're in line by 6P, they will allow you to vote.
Yes. You just have to be in line by that time.
Yep. You just have to be in line at 6P. I took off work.
So that's another way to plan, you know.
Yep. I took off work that
And
day.
I was a teacher at the time and I know a lot of schools have election day off. I know you said your kids have school. I don't know if
Hmm.
my kids do, but being a teacher, it was our conference day. So
Hmm.
I planned all my conferences later in the afternoon so I could have that entire chunk in the morning in case I did have to come late, and it worked out because I was in line for 3 hours to vote.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
you
And
know.
I feel like every school should be out on election day, and I also feel like everyone, it should be a day. Like,
I know.
everybody should. I shouldn't have to take PTO to vote to have election day, but I did, and whatever. My husband did as well. So
So Kelly's saying she heard times of 45 minutes after lunch. That's great.
yeah, that's actually really good.
That's really good.
That's great. It's really good.
So let's talk. We've talked a little bit about, you know, the do's and don'ts about when you go to vote, and this is important for whether you are early voting or voting on election day. So
Hmm.
we talked about the masks.
Yep.
Another thing to remember is no political slogans.
They can turn you away.
Because they will turn you away. So that's like shirts, hats, I mean anything. Just make sure you're mindful of that because there is somebody there at the polls that will say you have to go.
Mhm.
So
And on top of that, just to kind of piggyback off of that, Kate, like, there are other things, there are other like outside factors at the polls that you have to be aware of as well right now.
mhm,
This is
mhm.
crazy that we're even having a
I know.
address it, but I'm just saying, like, you have to be aware of everything that's happening that day. So you don't want anything to turn you away from voting. So definitely leave your shirts at home
Yes, you don't want to. Yes,
and your hats.
and your hats. So,
Please.
well, and I think this is another important thing to talk about, and we were talking about this before we jumped on. Absentee ballots.
Man,
So, and I think this has kind of turned into a little bit of a mess, let's be real, you know, in some areas. So,
it is. It is.
if you requested an absentee ballot and you
Mm-hmm.
have not received it,
Mm-hmm.
what do we do? What should we
So
do?
you need to call the election board in your county. So you're going to go to indianavoters.in.gov.
And we'll put that in the comments afterwards.
Mm-hmm. indianavoters.in.gov. Tomorrow, everybody, if you do not have an absentee ballot and you didn't request it, tomorrow's the final day to request it. Tomorrow is the final day. 10/22 is the final day to request your absentee ballot. So when I say that, if you don't request it by tomorrow, they're not going to send you one. And everyone is saying that it's easier just to drop off an absentee ballot. I quite frankly think that if I had one, I would drop it off. But also, it has to be in by 12 noon on November 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
So don't mail it on November 2nd and
Mm-mm.
expect it to be there. Mail it tomorrow or something. It has to be there by November 3rd. It has to be postmarked 12 noon.
And if if it's
On
possible, you
Yeah.
know, we highly recommend taking your ballot in person.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Can you just do that at any polling location? Can you just
It
take how does that work?
it says once you contact your election administrator. Who knew there was an election administrator?
No idea.
Once you contact your election administrator, they will tell you where you can drop your absentee ballots off. Now, obviously, I'm in Indianapolis, so you can drop it off down at the city county building,
Okay.
along with a million other places in the city. But it is it your election administrator will tell you exactly where it needs to go.
Yeah, I was reading that Marion County had mailed out like 91,000 absentee ballots, and they've only received maybe 50,000 of them back. So I
Hmm.
mean, that's like 50%
Yeah,
almost. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so if you have not
yeah,
received it, we'll put it in here. You, if you mailed it, you know what I mean? I think you'll be fine. I
yeah.
would say at this point we're 13 days away from the election.
Hmm.
Um, you could maybe mail it, but it has to be in by November 3rd
Hmm.
at noon.
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 And Kate, also, you can check once you mail it. You can check to make sure it was received.
Yes, you should. You should be able to go on because I mailed my primary. I mailed that one in, and it when you go on and you see where you're registered to vote, you will see that they sent you your absentee ballot, and then you'll see when they received your absentee ballot. So if
Yep.
you have mailed it, Andrea, if you have mailed it, go on to the what is it, Indy vote,
I It's indianavoters.in.gov.
and then you should be able to pull up, like it will say, like, are you registered? You just pull up your name, and then it will show that you're registered, and it will show you if they have received your ballot.
Yep.
So we'll get that in the comments too. So if you have mailed it, you can check it. Now I'm
Yeah.
curious though. So this brings a thought. Like as you're getting closer to election day, what would you do if I'm kind of throwing you on the spot? What would you do? I guess if you mailed it and it's not showing up that they received it.
I
Call
would
your
election
electric
administrator.
administrator.
No, I mean, if it keeps not showing up that they received it, then they probably haven't received it, or it could be all in a mess. For me, I would make a plan by at least when October 30th to call and see if they've received it. If not, just make a plan to go vote early or go to the polls. I wouldn't even risk it. October 30th is my cutoff for everything.
So can you, like, if you mail that in and it's not received, what would happen if you would vote and then they would receive it though? Like, would it?
But see, I don't think after. I mean, I'm not saying that they're throwing ballots away after 12
Yeah.
noon on Tuesday, but I don't think they're going to count it if it's after 12 noon on Tuesday because they were very specific that it had to be in by 12 noon.
And we'll link that website too. I have it here. So if you can't get your ballot in the mail to meet at 12 noon, you can take the ballot to a voting center on election day
Mm-hmm.
and then vote in person.
By 12 noon, though. Still
Yeah.
by 12 noon.
Yes. It
That
says
absentee ballot is by 12 noon. Yeah.
It says the Postal Service recommends having absentee ballots in the mail by early next week. So I would say get those in the mail by tomorrow, Friday. You know?
Yeah, and I mean, you keep checking back to make sure they received it, but by October 30th, if they have not received it, then that's kind of the time to make a different plan, a different game plan.
It says what we will do is put all of those ballots in a rejected envelope and save them.
That's so brutal.
That's like like the big like stamp reach out on.
Why you so mean, election board? Why you so mean, girl? What's wrong with you?
So get that in. So we will link all of that in there. So you can check if you did mail in your ballot that it was received, if yours at least has been sent out, and you can figure it. As well as where if you decide you're going to do early voting, to look up your county and where you can go and the times. And again, I think like check your county because a lot of counties are doing a lot more locations than usual.
Yes, and don't forget that if you are in Indy, Bankers Life Fieldhouse will be open on election day. That's where I'm voting. So Bankers Life is open, and they're going to have a ton of polling areas there. So, I mean, if you don't feel comfortable parking downtown, I know a lot of people like the parking, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, they'll have a lot more polling areas there. So,
Uber down there.
Huh?
Just get an Uber. It's free, right?
Or Lyft.
Or Lyft. They are offering free or reduced rates on election day.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that goes without saying that's better to go, where there's more air you can social distance better.
That's so can you go there even if that like let's like my polling place is at a church. So like can you still go to Bankers is kind of like the main one. Like you could go to that your church, your main polling place where you based on where you live or Bankers. Is that how that works?
Marion County.
So like in Marion County, you could go. Okay.
You can go to Bankers, yeah. Because you don't have like specific areas now, really, here. And so you can go to Bankers, like Broad Ripple High School is gonna be open. That's where I voted in the primary. So Bankers, I just said that because it allows you to space out a little bit more.
I like that. Well, and I wonder how many polling machines they'll have.
A lot, probably.
So the line will probably go pretty quick. But again, plan ahead, take those books, those magazines, maybe go to the library and get a book that you have been wanting to read and get it, take it with you.
And also, Kate, there's a website that's called I Am Voter. I am a voter. I am a voter, and they have like you can check polling locations there as well.
Okay.
You can check your voter registration status. And you can sign up for election reminders there as well. So
can you still sign up to work the polls? Do you know, or is that
what? My parents have signed up to work the polls. Like they signed up though, in like February.
I know. I have quite a few friends that have as well, so I can't speak to that right now. So but the nice thing about Bankers is you'll be inside.
Yeah, you'll be inside.
Great point, Kelly. So whatever the weather is, you're not waiting in a line.
Yep, such a great point. And also, it's just like I said, it's just more locations. But a lot of people don't feel as comfortable driving downtown. But I'm just trying to think of where you can get in and out.
Well, I mean, if you would go to bank, you could park at the mall and walk over that way. You know what I mean? That would be easy in and out too.
You know that. I know that. But like a lot of people I've talked to about going there were like, girl, I don't want to park downtown. I'm like, now listen, people. Don't make excuses.
Get to the polls. That's the big thing.
Get to the polls and grab your friends. Like Michelle Obama wants everybody to send her pictures. Not that this is a big deal, but she wants everybody like your voting squad. It's not about who you're voting for. It's that you're voting.
Yep.
She's like, send me pictures of your voting squad. Like who you want to vote with. So the more people you get, grab your girls, grab your guys, like make it a day, have breakfast. And
you can, Erica's asking if you can take children with when you vote.
Yeah, I've always gone to the polls with my parents.
I don't think that. I mean,
I took the kids last time too.
just make sure make sure you have their masks and things for them to do
And snacks.
and all those snacks.
Oh my God, so many snacks.
So maybe even like a stroller, who cares how old they are, but then they'll have a place to sit. If they're like 4th grade in the stroller, who cares? Get them in the stroller with the iPad and the snacks.
Yeah, I took all that when I took the kids for the primaries. I had everything. I was like iPads, but they were intrigued by what was going on. So
yeah, I think it'll be like just so overwhelming, but like a good experience.
Oh
if
yeah,
you have to take kids. Yes. Yeah. So
for sure.
Oh yeah, she's like, he's 1, he'll be in a stroller. Get those snacks, give him some snacks.
He'll be asleep.
He'll maybe take a nap for you.
He'll be asleep. My kids fall asleep at the end.
Is there anything else we should add?
I don't have anything. Obviously, I'll be on Wish discussing like issues that are on the ballot this year, and that's what I'll be discussing on Wednesday.
Yep. So, tune in to Wish TV about 9:20.
Yeah.
And you'll be back on talking more about.
And I'm going live on Election Day.
Yes, on Instagram.
On Instagram.
Yep. Deandra's taking over Instagram on Election Day. So
I am. I'm excited about that too.
I feel like I need to get you a microphone.
I'm
going live for
Fieldhouse. I'll be running down the street. People will be running from me.
I would like to know, how was your experience? How long did you wait? She'll be giving live wait times for you on Instagram. So follow us on Instagram if you're not.
I will. And I'm going to drive around a little bit to look at different polling areas. I'm going to go, as soon as I convince my husband of this, I'm going to go to Hamilton County. I'm going to go to, and I'm going to head over to Hendricks. Isn't that Brownsburg?
Yep.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna obviously go around Marion County a little bit. I
feel like I do now. I do need to get you a mic. I'm gonna get you one.
People will be like, "Listen, there's a crazy lady at the polling place. They'll be coming to arrest me."
I'll be like, "She's not for us."
You'll be like, "I don't know who she is.
I don't know. She just hijacked our Instagram account. I have no idea who this girl is."
But yeah, I'll be live that day. So I'm really excited about this election season. It's really important, guys. This is it.
I'm excited to see the turnout this year.
Me too. Because that's why I drove by Marion County, why I drove by the city county building, because I was like, I want to see what the line is like. And it was crazy.
And I think are some places of, maybe not, but I know some places are giving people election day off.
Some places.
But I know Peloton is, because I just got an email. That's nothing to do with that.
Somebody got a bike.
So, we will make sure to link all these websites for you to check your status, your polling locations, wait times, all the goodness. We'll stick it in there. Tune in Wednesday on Wish TV. And then follow this crazy girl on the next Tuesday on Instagram.
Yes, please follow me all day. I'm off work.
We're gonna have a good time on Wednesday or Tuesday.
We are. I'm gonna be all over the state. I mean, like, it's gonna be so fun.
We'll have a good time. Now I gotta
Steve doesn't even know.
I gotta go look for a microphone now.
It needs to have the logo on it so people don't think I'm like.
I'll do that. I'll make you a shirt too.
I don't
know. Election day coverage.
Now I'll be like, this is DeAndrea Bevan reporting live from I don't even know where I'm at, but there's a big line.
You have to wear those headsets though. Headset, so you can be problem. Official.
I love a good moment. Don't leave me out of a movement.
I love it. All right, friends. Well, it's been so great. Great conversation. If you have questions, post it here. Chat with us. Ask us questions. We will send you links message us, email us. You know where to find us. So
For sure.
get out there. But like we said, get out there, vote, 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 vote. So
We've got this, ladies.
What now?
We've got this.
Yes, we got
We
this.
got this.
I did real fast. I did just read a stat that more women come out to vote than men.
Mm-hmm.
So
I believe that.
let's keep that up, ladies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We got it. All right, friends. We will have a great night and we will talk to you all soon.
Bye, everybody.